Well, welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm. This week is all about Emma and Quinn. Emma works with me. She's my niece, and she's lived here on the farm for a couple of years, at least 3 years, I think. So I consider her like my daughter, and this week was just one of the most special weeks that we were honored to do a beautiful wedding for Emma and Quinn, and I thought we would just kind of take you along throughout the day of their wedding. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. The first part of fall, the leaves and the trees were just starting to turn. The weather was absolutely perfect. It was just a mild 79 degrees, sunny skies, and just perfect for a fall wedding. Emma chose a site which was a vineyard, but also a farm, which worked perfectly because that is kind of her personality. Sophisticated, yet with a country girl side to her. When I spoke at Emma's wedding, I shared this scripture, which is in Ephesians 4:23. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient and bearing with one another in love, making every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. And I often look at, like I told Emma and Quinn, it's like their rings are that bond of peace. And I think even today, in today's world, we talk about peace a lot. And that starts in the home, I think. I mean, this is my own opinion. That bond of peace. And as a woman of my household with my husband, I mean, it can be anybody, but for myself, this is what I'm talking of, is having that starts with me. My tone that I set for the home when I wake up in the morning, and when I put on my mom hat, when I put on my wife hat, when I put on my just general hat of the day for working, that spirit that I come with in the morning is so important because that sets that tone. In a marriage, I think that's so important. And, for my husband as well, we've had that together, not always perfect. Oh my gosh, no. In fact, I was telling Emma and Quinn, Jason and I, for our 25th wedding anniversary, we just went to Europe. We went to Israel for our 25th anniversary, and we were on like a group tour, and there's all these like people that are a little bit older than us there, and some of them had been married a really long time, but there's this one gal, she had been married, I think almost, 45, 50 years, something like that, a long time. And she turns to me and she's like, "Oh, I am learning so much about my husband that I didn't know on this trip." And I'm like, "Oh dear Lord, I am in for it." So I know that marriage can be hard and difficult, but to start with a foundation that is first like friends, and that's what Emma and Quinn were, friends for a long time, for many years. And then that blossomed into something that is absolutely beautiful. As you can see in today's video, Emma was just the most stunning bride. Quinn is just the perfect man for her. And just the day in general was just so blessed and beautiful. So for Emma's wedding, we had this amazing palette of mainly whites and creams with some butter yellow, some bronzes. We used a lot of golden fern, which was just absolutely stunning in her wedding. Rilley had a vision for this wedding. Emma had shown her just a few photos that she kind of liked, but Rilley knew Emma just as a sister would, and she chose everything perfectly. Emma even grew some of the cosmos. She took pride in growing the flowers for her wedding, which was super fun to do. You know, there's a lot of brides that come to us and they say, you know, I tried to grow flowers, or I'd like to grow some flowers for my wedding, and we coach them on how to do that. And a lot of them are successful and a lot of them are not successful, but we always have their back, right? We always tell them, go for it, and then if you can't grow as many as you'd like, then we will have some waiting in the wings for you. So majority of the time we end up growing them for them because it's just a lot of work. You know, you've got to water them every day. There's a lot of pests that come along. There's just a lot of unknowns and the timing of everything. So Emma planted a whole bunch of things for her wedding in mind. One of them was cosmos, and she absolutely loves cosmos. So cosmos were the star of the show. So this is the vase we used for some of the round tables. So we did a combination of round tables and some of the long barnwood tables. The ceremony site was out in the middle of this field with pastures, and there was cows and just a beautiful setting. There's a vineyard right next door. That it's on a vineyard, but you could see grapes. We did kind of like a circle arch on the ground that was full of all the flowers that Emma had grown, some of the ones we had bought in for her as well. And then of course the goldenrod, and then we also had some fall leaves that were just kind of stacked up through it. But this was the first vase that we used for some of the round tables, and we had about 220 guests. So we had a combo of this, and then we had little bud vases kind of dotting the tables, the long wooden tables, which was really, really fun and pretty look. We also laid on each table so that it kind of had like a cream tablecloth on the round tables and then just wood on the long farmwood tables. But we just laid this kind of chiffon, well, it's kind of like a linen, like a runner down each table. And then we had 3 tea lights on the round tables and then tea lights scattered down the long tables. And then we also, on Emma's table, we used some of these vintage kind of brass candle holders. And because a lot of times when you do an event, they can't have open flame. So in order to have a tapered light setup, we ended up ordering these here, flameless LED candles. They were battery operated, which is nice. So if you're doing like a big setup, this would be pretty cool. What I love about these is they're actual wax, and I don't know if you can see that very well, but they're kind of ribbed on the outside. They have a little button at the bottom that you can push. They just set off this beautiful ambient glow. So this was on the head table. So Rilley had planned this whole wedding from top to bottom. We had this beautiful welcome sign that we did in this. The base of it had just some beautiful golden fern, and then we had some florals kind of popped in the base of it. And then we took some chicken wire and we just wrapped up the side of the welcome sign, and it was this huge cloud of baby's breath. And so we added baby's breath as just a touch here and there, which added this just amazing, elegant look to it. And I would say that her wedding was definitely that classic clean wedding meets just that abundant garden, floral, English garden look that we call. That is one of our styles for sure. So the wedding itself turned out beautiful. I have to say, we did the food, and that was a little bit of a challenge, partly because when you're doing both food and florals, you know, you're given a lot of instruction. You're running around a little bit. And as much as I tried not to do all the running around, you know, there's just, you know, parts to a wedding that you just, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, you don't always foresee. And, but in the end, the food, oh my gosh, you guys, was amazing. And, you know, that's what Emma wanted. And that was our gift. It was just like, she wanted that home cooked meal. And, you know, we cook for a lot of people, but usually our numbers are like 50, you know, but we have cooked for bigger groups. And so we had a team that worked really hard. It was all about family coming together and working in the kitchen. So Jason, his friend Bob, and his friend Jesse all came to help do the barbecue. We had a couple little stressful times where, you know, the timing is what's hard when we do that. The chicken, so we did tri-tip steak. I'm not totally for sure about that. It was delicious. So Bob had just marinated all the meats, and then we did like a teriyaki chicken, and then we had the 3 different salads. And actually Emma's mom and Emma's new mother-in-law, they did all the salads a couple days prior, 1 day prior, and then all we had to do was assemble them. And then I made the focaccia bread. It was just beautiful meal and so many compliments. It wasn't your standard catered dinner. It was definitely a home cooked meal, and Emma really wanted that for her wedding and for her guests. You know, when I'm always talking with bride and grooms, I'm always telling them that this is actually the first time that you're hosting something together, and what you're wanting to do is create that vibe, create that home environment, create something that is you and draws your friends and family in to celebrate your special day. And Emma and Quinn did exactly that. They knew what they wanted in their heads. It came out just absolutely stunning. Rilley knows Emma so well that she was able to put together the design for it. So the design for Emma's wedding, I couldn't have been more pleased, you guys, and let me know down in the comments below what you think. But now we are back on the farm, and Emma is off to Greece, and Rilley and I are holding down the fort. We have a couple more weddings we're doing, and we are going on vacation for a short time, which next video we're gonna just kind of do a little question and answer for you guys just about the farm and what we're doing. That'll come out either next weekend or it will come out later this week. I'm not sure what we're gonna do there. So, but we came back after the wedding. I had a couple days of rest, and then we're going to be back at it. We've got loads and loads of flowers that have just come in, loads of plants, and we have a ton of bulbs, so many bulbs. We're not ready to plant our tulips yet. It's too warm, the soil's too warm, and that's when you can get disease and stuff, so we're just keeping them in the cooler. And we're gonna have more videos on what we're planning and planting this year. We have just some beautiful weather here on the farm, so that creates an awesome time for us to plant all the cool flowers that need to still go in the ground. We're working on it. It's just busy. But next year, as all these flowers start to bloom, I cannot wait to show you our next spring here on the farm. It is going to be, I say that every year, and I think every gardener does, but it's going to be absolutely stunning. So I'm glad you're here with us for that journey, because it's gonna be a progress, and I'm hoping to take you along as I fill all those raised beds with all the beauty for spring to come. Well, there you have it. All my thoughts about marriage, whether you liked it or not. But I love hearing people's stories about their marriage, how many years they've been married. Maybe leave us a comment below and let us know how many years you've been married. Anyways, it was just my rambling, so I'm thankful you bared with it and saw this beautiful wedding for Emma and Quinn. Again, we bless them. It's just gonna be amazing to see their lives grow together, and I'm so happy for them. Anyways, wish them well in a comment below, and we look forward to seeing you back here at Crowley House next week. So much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you shortly. Bye-bye.